There is a million ways to do it. And there's also, if I'm honest, a million ways to cut the onion of trading successfully. It's going to sound terrible to some people. Kind of the question is, where do you start if you're wanting to trade successfully?
Do that, don't do that. And it saved you, so much time and education.
Yeah. Today, we're going to be answering the top 10 questions we get asked about trading. The strategies are there because they keep you safe. And part of keeping you safe is it not allowing you to enter the market when the conditions aren't right.
No matter what happens in the world, no matter what craziness is going on out there, we can still trade. We just need to stick to the strategy and just keep going.
Hello everybody and welcome to the STARTrading podcast with me, Lewis.
And me, Sophie.
And today we're going to be answering the top 10 questions we get asked about trading.
I'm looking forward to this one.
Me too. There's some really good questions in there actually.
Yes. And how are you? How's your week been?
I am good. We've just had another Forex in 5, which for people who don't know is our kind of introductory course, no-brainer decision, super low entry fee to join us for a whole week of mentoring and coaching. It's been really fun. Yeah, they're a really, really good group of people. Sometimes it can be a mixed bag, but this group are lovely. So,
amazing.
Yeah, it was very good. How was your week?
Yeah, my week's been really good. We're gearing up for a family party. So one of my cousins from America is turning 40. She's just run the London Marathon, which is incredible. And we're having a birthday party for her this weekend. And the family is coming from Belgium, from America. So really excited.
So some Belgian chocolates might be on the horizon.
Oh, yeah, kilos of it. Kilos of chocolate and kilos of cheese always arrive from Belgium.
Is it true what they say about the Belgians? Wow. Belgians, that's the one. Yeah, Belgique. No, that's a restaurant.
What do they say?
That's a burger restaurant near my old house. Sorry. Not to offend any Belgians out there. Yeah, just that they always bring cheese and
100%.
chocolate.
It's the best chocolate in the world.
Yeah.
This is the peak. This is what I'm hoping you'll one day bring me.
Yes, one day. Sadly, not today.
Sadly, it's just full of surprises. That's fine. So today, I have been on ChatGPT and I have asked what are the 10 most common questions about Forex trading.
Yeah.
Because I've got an expert right here sat in front of me and I'm sure that everyone out there has all these questions in mind. So should we do a bit of a snappy 10 question episode?
We can indeed, yes.
Yeah, are you ready?
Yeah. I am ready, yeah. Okay,
so question number 1. Lewis, what is Forex trading?
Oh, I don't know. So Forex trading, it's 2 words merged together. So foreign for for and exchange for the X. So foreign exchange, Forex. So what we're trading when we trade foreign exchange is we're trading currencies. So you don't trade currencies in the sense of buying $1 and selling it for 1.2 UK pounds. That's not kind of what happens. So when we're trading the markets, when we're in the markets, what we're doing is we're trading the value fluctuation between that currency pair, which is why we see them move up, we see them move down. So as they move further apart in terms of value between the 2 currency pairs, one of them will move up, then vice versa.
Very good, very good. And how does Forex trading work?
It works exactly the same as traditional investing. So when I say traditional investing, like everyone understands, buy low, sell high. So that's what I mean by traditional investing. Now, we know that the reverse is true, so you can short the market. I think we've talked about that on previous episodes. But what we do when we're trading foreign currencies is exactly the same. So we identify where we think the market is at a low point and we think it's going to go up. So we would press the buy button at that point, enter into the market as that market moves up because the difference in value between the 2 foreign currencies is increasing and that market therefore goes up. We therefore make profit that way. And again, we can do the same in the reverse.
Beautiful. And what are the major currency pairs that we trade?
So we talk about minor pairs and we talk about major pairs. So the major pairs are pretty much anything associated with the US dollar. So US dollar GBP, US dollar Euro, US dollar JPY, all of these are considered the major pairs. So it's pretty much anything tied to the US dollar. The reason that they're considered the major pairs is because the US dollar is considered the world's global reserve currency at the moment. So if you've been watching or paying attention to the news with this whole thing about BRICS and things like that, there's other countries in the world now trying to replace the US dollar and basically destabilize them as the global economic store of wealth. So yeah, it's the US dollar is considered the global reserve currency. but that may be under threat, which would be very interesting times, not necessarily in a good way. But currently it still is the world's reserve currency. So currently major pairs are still anything associated with the US dollar. Minor pairs, therefore, is the opposite. So anything that isn't US dollar related. Now, we do kind of have within there categories of more popular, higher volume markets versus less popular, less volume markets. For example, US dollar, sorry, not US dollar, US, no, why? Because I'm always looking at the pairs, so I was about to say US dollar ZAR. But ZAR, so South African Rand, is a less traded currency pair. So you don't have quite the same volume, which means you don't have quite the same patterns, and it's considered a minor pair when tied to anything, including the US dollar, really. You wouldn't really consider US dollar ZAR a major pair, but GBP, JPY, for example, two major currencies, but they're not US dollars, therefore they're minor pairs.
Nice. And you mentioned a bit about geopolitics and how the dollar might be unstabilized in, in the near future, perhaps. How do you think that will affect Forex trading?
In one sense, and this is going to sound terrible to some people, when markets crash, for educated traders, that's quite a good thing, because you tend to make more money as markets crash compared to when they're going up. So we kind of talk about markets gradually moving up, but if they're moving down, we talk about them crashing. So that crash is called a crash because it's a fast movement, right? It's a fast change. And so if you know how to identify that and catch that move, you can make a heck of a lot of money during an economic crash. So for an educated trader, it's probably not the worst thing in the world at all. If you're not an educated trader, you're kind of just gambling in the market, you're not following the STARTrading method, you don't really know what you're doing, then you're going to be in a bit of difficulty. You're going to have a bit of trouble. But I'm not really concerned about it. I mean, if you look at just how our strategies have been performing, even with the brink of world war, cost of living crisis, all of that sort of stuff, we've still been performing very, very healthily.
And why do you think that is?
I think because our strategies are, yes, tried and tested, but one thing I always tell our mentees is the strategies are there because they keep you safe. And part of keeping you safe is it not allowing you to enter the market when the conditions aren't right. So when the conditions aren't right, okay, you may have less trades. People might find that frustrating, but I'd much rather they were having less trades and the ones they take are good than loads and loads of trades that they want all the time, and actually you're trading when you shouldn't be trading, and the market just isn't providing you the right condition for you to have a successful trade.
Yeah, this is really interesting to talk about, actually, because it means that no matter what happens in the world, no matter what craziness is going on out there, we can still trade. We just need to stick to the strategy and just keep going, which is nice. The next question is, how can I start Forex trading?
So really good question, because there is a million ways to do it. And there's also, if I'm honest, a million ways to cut the onion of trading successfully. The problem that then creates is, where do you go? Where do you start? So I suppose that's kind of the question, is where do you start if you're wanting to trade successfully? Number one route for me is education of some kind. Like, we've got loads of free resources at STARTrading to help people at least begin. I am a massive believer that coaching and mentorship of some description, feedback basically on what you're doing, is important, because you could spend years and years and years on YouTube. You could listen to 1,000,001 podcasts. There's no point listening to any podcasts other than this one, but you could spend hundreds of hours on forums and still make actually no progress because you don't know how to apply that knowledge. And absorbing knowledge isn't what's going to make you a successful trader. Applying the right knowledge is what will make you a successful trader. So some form of feedback in your training process as a trader is really important. Reading another book is not the way to go. You wouldn't read a book to learn to drive a car. You want to get in the car with an instructor so they can show you how to do it. For me, it's exactly the same with trading. So I would recommend people download our ebook, they join one of our masterclasses, and they come along to one of our events, like our 5-day challenge, Forex in 5, and get involved with our community. And you can do that through all the links in this episode.
I completely agree, and I do a lot of property and investing stuff, and for me it's just a complete, it's just so clear that if you spend time with people doing something successfully and learn from them, they've made all the mistakes, they've got all the experience. Why would you start from square one when they're already at 100 and they can just say, do that, don't do that, and it saved you, so much time and education. And I spoke to you about a friend of mine the other day who I know from the property world, and we were having lunch, and they said to me, "Oh, you do a bit of trading, do you?" I said, yeah, do you? And she said, yeah, how are you getting on? I said, yeah, great, I'm loving it. And she said, oh, I've lost, a significant amount of money. And I asked, what training have you done? And she'd basically put her trust in a company who had said, okay, just put 20k in. Just put another 5
just
in.
20k.
Yeah.
And we say don't start with more than 1,000.
Yeah. And because it was going very badly, they just said to her, oh, it'll turn. Just put another 5k in. And so that turned into tens of thousands of pounds before, it clicked that this is definitely not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's scary because when you invest time or money into something, it's a bit of a law of investment, isn't it? Like, I've put loads of time into this. It's why people stay on slot machines for ages, because it should come back. But sometimes it just doesn't. So I said, talk to Lewis. Yeah. Have a call with Lewis.
Yeah.
And even then she was like, oh, okay. But she's now got this barrier in her mind of, she's been scammed, basically.
Yeah, completely. And I actually did have a conversation with her, had a really nice chat, and she, unfortunately fell foul to those things we talk about. And if she'd known the principles of what we teach, she wouldn't have fallen foul to them. So it's a shame that we got to her too late in a way. But she is going to come to Forex in 5. She's going to learn the right way of doing it, and she's actually really excited now. So I think it's really good, and that having trust in the process and the people that are teaching that process is so vitally important, which is why I say get around the right people. The acronym of which is GARP.
GARP. Get
around the right people.
Okay, let's all GARP.
Let's all GARP.
Let's all GARP Lewis. Okay, so
Sounds a bit naughty, that, actually, Sophie.
The next question is, what are the risks involved in Forex trading?
It depends on who you are. And the reason I say that is it depends on how you're trading, because all forms of investment, trading is a form of investment, all of them will carry risk. So either you can do it in a risky way, and I'm not talking about being in sexy lingerie, I'm talking about not following correct risk parameters. So if you're doing it in a risky way, that means you are the risky individual, you're the risky component in that process. In the same way, if I go to a property auction and I just buy a property that I see because I think I like the look of it, that is risky investing. I've not done my due diligence, I'm not following safety protocols. So you can trade very, very safely, which means your risk is absolutely minimal because you have full control over A, how much is in your account, B, how much of that account you're risking. We teach to only risk 1% per trade, which is incredibly low. And you also have complete control, or should do, of the strategy that you're implementing in the market as well. So it's a really good question, but it depends on you and if you're following something like the STARTrading method, which will keep you incredibly safe, or if you're just having a bit of a go, in which case you're being very risky.
100%. The next question is, how do I choose a Forex broker?
So if you read the ebook, we have a whole chapter on that very thing, but a couple of top tips. I'm not going to go into loads of detail on this because we've talked about it on the podcast before, but the thing you want to make sure is that they're financially regulated. The best way to do that is go to their website. You can go to the bottom of that page. Legally, they have to have their registered address on that website. If that isn't there, red flag number 1, walk away, find someone else. Second element is, where is that registered address? If it's not in a financially regulated country that you trust, like the UK, like the USA, wherever it may be, then do not trust that broker. If they're based in the Bahamas, it's a no-go. So yeah, just be safe in that respect. Most brokers are pretty decent, the regulated ones. You will want to make sure that you pick a broker that allows you to trade with the amount of starting capital that you have. For example, I trade with a broker called IG. I don't have an affiliation link with them, sadly. I wish I did. But you need to have more money in your account to be able to trade with them. So it's not a good broker for someone who's just starting out. So you'd want to find a different broker like FXCM. Again, we don't have an affiliation with them. We just recommend them because they're FCA regulated and you can start with a smaller account balance.
Yeah, brilliant. The next question is, what is leverage in Forex trading?
So first of all, leverage we don't use. Leverage is basically where you use a small amount of your money and get access to a larger amount of somebody else's money. That's it, kind of in simple terms. The reason we don't do that is because it can mean that when you lose more than you actually have and you're actually willing to use. So we don't trade on leverage. The financial markets, when you're trading something like Forex, are already leveraged. The market itself is leveraged. So in essence, and again in simple terms, what it means, and I like to keep everything simple, is they basically move the decimal point further along the line so that it's basically you're trading a fraction of the actual market. So when you buy 10, you're actually not buying 10, you're buying a tenth, for example. So when we trade Forex markets, that market is already leveraged, so we don't have to leverage our money. meaning they've moved the decimal point, so we don't need to borrow money in order to trade with the right amount of capital. So that is leverage.
I didn't know that. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's like buying a fraction of a stock or a fraction of an index fund or something like that.
Yeah.
Which means everyone can do it.
Everyone can do it.
Okay, next question. What are the best strategies for Forex trading?
Mine.
STARTrading ones.
STARTrading ones, yeah. They really do perform exceptionally well. So are they the best in the world? I don't know, because I've not actually traded every other strategy. I think the better question to probably ask is, what are you happy with as a return, and how much work goes into trading that strategy to get that return? That's probably a better question to ask, really. So you could buy, and we've talked about this before, you can buy a strategy just off the shelf, off the internet. Doesn't mean you can trade it. How do you know you're going to be able to trade that strategy effectively and successfully? You don't, because you haven't got the feedback mechanism. So the reason why our students get such great success with our strategies is because we're also walking them hand in hand to be able to trade them in that successful way, like a successful trader. So our strategies do perform very, very well, 5% to 10% per month. You could even double your money in 12 months based upon what the data shows. So they perform very, very well. You just need to make sure you can actually trade them.
Yeah, I think it's amazing, because when you're looking online and you start looking at Forex trading, there's strategies, there's like diagrams, there's charts, there's like weird acronyms and stuff. It's a complete minefield, and we've just got three main strategies. Learn them and go, off you go within a few months.
Yeah.
And they're successful, which is cool. Okay, next question. Only 2 questions left. How much money do I need to start Forex trading?
So you can start with as little as £250 in a broker account. We would recommend starting with about £500 in your account. No more than £1,000 absolute maximum when you're first learning how to trade. You don't want to do more than that, because you will make mistakes. So let's not put too much in. What often happens is people get obsessed with how much money they can put in their account, and that is backward thinking. I call it putting the cart before the horse. Because yes, you may have that money in your account, but if you don't know how to make that money make more money, then what are you going to do? And this is often where people decide to put their money into their trading account instead of putting money into their knowledge and education and application of the trading skill. And I think it's so backward. And the reason I think it's, I'm going to be a bit blunt, a stupid decision, is because if you put any amount of money in your trading account and you don't have the skill in place, how are you ever going to become a successful trader? You're going to waste loads of time. You're probably going to lose that money because you're making mistakes and not knowing you're making mistakes, and you're not going to know how to improve on those mistakes. So you are 100% putting the cart before the horse, and you're focusing on the wrong thing. The thing people should focus on is how quickly they can master the skill set correctly, which is going to be training, education, and mentorship. And then whatever money they have in their account, whether that's 250, 500 or 1,000, is then going to grow. So that is why, okay, technically no more than £1,000 in your account, but if you only have £1,000, like literally that's the only money you have in the world, do some education, even if it's only £500, and then keep that other £500. Even if you spent that whole £1,000 on education, you will be in a better position than putting £100 in your account, or that whole £1,000 in your account and not knowing what you're doing.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think that it's a fallacy that people don't want to pay for trading education, because using trading can be an absolutely incredible investment. It really can. And people can go back and listen to the compound interest episode, which is my favourite, because it can literally change your life. Like, it can do incredible things if you're set up correctly. And the amount of success you can have from it is the amount of you'd have to pay for your education is a tiny fraction of that. But it's on the flip side, if you don't pay for education and you follow YouTube, or you go and copy someone's trades or pick a strategy, you could lose so much. So it's really, really worth the investment.
I think we should probably do an episode on how to pick good education, actually, and if it's worth it. I think that'd be a really good topic.
100%. So the final question is, how can I analyse the Forex market?
So again, there's a million ways to do that. And the problem with there being a million ways is there's a million different tools. It's literally tens upon thousands of different analysis tools you can use. I want to be very clear from the start and say you do not need to pay money for an analysis tool. Like, you just do not need it. Once you get the basics, it's a simple process. And all the stuff that you're going to need to analyze the markets to be a successful trader are built into most charting software now. Back in the day when I first started, over 10 years ago, that wasn't the case. You'd have to pay more money for certain things. You don't need to do that anymore. So with the charting software that we recommend, which is called TradingView, you've got all the analysis tools you could need that are built in. So keep it simple. Follow the STARTrading methodology. You only need to know enough to trade the strategies. Otherwise, it's wasted knowledge and it's wasted input. So you don't need 10 indicators on every single chart that you have. You don't need all these different price studies. You don't need all these algorithms kicking off and blah, 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 blah. Keep it simple, follow the process, and take it from there. So the way that we do that is the first point of the STARTrading methodology, which is chart mastery, making sure we've mastered the chart, we understand the chart, and then we can take it from that point on.
What kind of things do people pay for that you mentioned earlier?
Things that like draw automatic lines on their charts. There's this one very famous guy who I won't mention, but one of the leading inverted commas educators in the UK, whose mentorship team come to me to actually teach them how to trade, but that's by the by. But he has something which he pushed out called, he calls it an AI tool that will basically analyze the markets for you. It's not AI, it's just a mechanical thing which has been around for many, many years, that he's been flogging like a dead horse for a very long time, but it makes people think that they don't have to do anything. And it doesn't actually, it's not that great.
And again, doesn't empower people to know how to do it themselves and do it themselves.
Exactly.
Interesting. Well, thank you for answering those questions. I thought that was really good.
Absolute pleasure. It was a good one. Yeah, it was quite fun, that.
Well, obviously, I'm now live trading all 3 strategies, which is amazing. And there's just so many more options when you've got all those strategies to do. I feel like I'm maybe overconfident this week. I'm like, I'm a trader now. I know all the strategies and I'm just loving it. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit there every evening. I'm going to take a few trades. That's, I go in with that mindset. So I think I need to rein myself back a little bit.
It's a really interesting
It's quite
mindset.
an exciting time.
It is very exciting. And that's where we have to be careful because it is a mindset game. And I think a better mindset when you sit down to trade is I'm going to see if there's any good quality trades for me.
Yes.
That's the goal you're going in with. If you go in with the goal of I'm going to place a trade, you're already on the back foot because you're tricking your brain into seeing something that isn't there. So you've set the wrong goal. The goal should be to take a trade that is a good quality trade that meets all the criteria. So it's better to it's foraging versus hunting. And I'm a hypocrite because I sometimes thought, I'm trade hunting now, and I just mean I'm looking at trades, but really hunting means you're going for the kill. And we really want to be foragers. We want the berries to be there, the like that we just pluck off of the market, so to speak. See, I've never talked about it like that, but yeah, it's true.
Just go for a little forage.
Just go for a little forage.
Just relax a bit. Okay, I'll try and do that for next week. I'll let you know how I get on.
Brilliant. Sounds good.
Would you like a snack?
I would love a snack.
Okay, so I need to tell you, Lewis, that for the last few episodes, where have all the snacks come from?
M&S.
M&S, because I was like, we're going to buy each other lovely, tasty, high premium snacks.
No, don't do this to me.
And what have you brought me?
Stuff from B&M.
Squirty cream.
Yeah, I love that one.
Sweets that made me cry.
Yeah.
So we're going to go more for the fun surprise. Could be anything in the bag.
Sounds good.
Yeah, are you ready?
Yeah, all right, I'll shut my eyes.
You actually look
I am a little bit scared, I won't lie.
It's okay, it's not bad. I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Right, am I ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, these are brilliant. Oh, yes, my favourite flavour as well. So these are a big bag for the benefit of the tape. Monster Munch Giants. They are massive, yeah. And these are pickled onion flavour.
Have you ever had giant Monster Munch?
I have not, actually.
Give it a go. You look genuinely scared.
I was a bit scared, yeah. The smell is phenomenal. I love pickled onion. I really do. Although I've never eaten a pickled onion in real life.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll bring you some pickled onion.
Let's not. No. I mean, I would be surprised, especially now I've told you no.
Do you like the size of that?
It's a good size, yeah. Yeah. It's going to be very crunchy, isn't it? Winner, winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Flavour, 10 out of 10. Surprise, it's crisps.
Yeah.
But large.
Larger than life.
So I'm going to give you an extra few surprise points. I'm going to go 7.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to share. Let me try that.
Oh, over for that.
They're huge.
Very airy, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
But they will get trapped all over your mouth.
Not as dense as a little Monster Munch.
That's true. They've just basically someone overcooked it one day in the factory, didn't they? And they thought, we'll make a thing of this. But they're nice, right?
Do you think adults should eat these?
No, I don't think anybody that's health conscious should eat these. But
Okay.
I will eat the whole pack because they're delicious.
Yeah.
Would you like a snack?
Yeah, go on then. Okay, sure.
I'm gonna go for this one. Right, open your eyes.
Oh, it's a little egg.
It is a little egg.
It's an Oreo, a Cadbury's Oreo egg. Oh, I like this. It's Easter time.
Yeah, although I don't think I'm going to be able to have any of it.
You can have half if you like. What are we expecting inside?
Gooey.
Do you think gooey?
Do you think there'll be like flecks of actual Oreo?
I think so.
Okay. Oh.
Oh,
Oh. That's an interesting.
not gooey.
Is it all hard?
Mmm.
No,
Want a
I'm
bite?
okay.
No?
No,
We're not there yet.
not just yet. No, give it a few more episodes.
Not showing the chocolate egg. It's basically like Oreo filling with little flecks of Oreo in. It's pleasant. I'm
Yeah?
really happily surprised.
I really like the Oreo Dairy Milk bars. Have you ever had them?
No.
They're really good.
Okay, bring me
Yeah.
one.
Next episode maybe.
I'm going to say surprise 10. I've never seen it. Flavour 9. Thank you very
Brilliant.
much.
Winner, winner.
There we are.
So, thank you very much everyone for joining us on this episode. We will see you in the next one.
Bye.